What if I told you that that voice in your head that's saying that you're not good enough, that's beating you down all the time, that's saying that you can't go get this, is the same voice that's keeping you broke, keeping your dreams small, and keeping you from the life that you deserve, the life that's in your heart, the life that you truly want? I used to wake up every morning feeling like a fraud. Even when I was the #1 Nissan salesman in America, even when I was making millions of dollars in this business, even when I was speaking on stages in front of thousands of people, I still felt like someone was going to find out that I didn't belong. Imposter syndrome almost destroyed my life many times over. Imposter syndrome almost made sure that I didn't get introduced to this version of me, to these results that I currently have. It made me doubt myself when I should have been confident. But I figured out how to kill that voice forever. And today I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to do it, exactly how I know you could do it, exactly I've helped hundreds of people overcome this same syndrome. And if you've ever felt like you don't deserve success or that you're just fooling everyone, this video will change your entire life, I guarantee you. First, let's be real. What imposter syndrome actually is. It's not humility. It's not being modest. It's not keeping yourself grounded at all. Those are common things that people think about. It's not that. Imposter syndrome, fear disguised as self-awareness. It's your brain's way of keeping you safe by keeping you small. Here's what it sounds like. I don't deserve success. I just got lucky. That was just one good month. I definitely am not going to be able to do that again. I'm not as good as they think I am. I don't belong here. I remember when I first started making 6 figures in sales, instead of celebrating, I was terrified. I thought, this can't last. I'm going to mess this up. That voice almost made me self-sabotage everything I worked for. Here's the truth. Imposter syndrome isn't a sign that you're a fraud. It's a sign that you're growing. Most people just don't know how to frame it in their mind. It's a sign that you're doing something that matters. It's a sign that you're pushing beyond your comfort zone. The people who never experience imposter syndrome are the people who never challenge themselves. They are in their lane, they're playing small, and they're never risking feeling uncomfortable. But if you really want to build something great, if you really want to go to the next level of your life, if you really want to impact others, you're going to feel like an imposter sometimes. The question is, are you going to let that feeling stop you, or are you going to push through that feeling and see what's on the other side of that feeling? Let me tell you about the moment imposter syndrome almost destroyed my life. I was 25 years old, making more money than I ever dreamed of in car sales. I was the top guy on the floor, top guy in my state. Customers were asking for me specifically, and management was using me as an example for other salespeople. But inside, I just felt like a fraud. I grew up poor. I didn't have a college degree. I didn't come from a family of successful people. And here I was making more money than people with fancy degrees and years of experience. Every day I walked into that dealership expecting someone to say, wait a minute, this kid doesn't belong here. He's just getting lucky. The worst part is I started playing small because of it. I stopped taking risks. I stopped pushing for bigger deals. I stopped believing I could go to the next level because I didn't think I deserved where I already was. My income plateaued, my confidence dropped, and I started to sabotage myself because I just didn't believe I belonged. I didn't believe that that life could be for me, even though I was currently living that life. And then one day my manager pulled me aside. He said something that changed everything. He said, Ian, you're the hardest working guy I've ever seen. You care more about your customers than anyone else. You study this business like your life depends on it. Man, you think that's an accident? That's when I realized something. I wasn't an imposter. I was just someone who had worked harder than everybody else. I was afraid to step into the person that I could be. And oftentimes when you're going to the next level, going from level 1 to level 2, you will experience that. Level 2 to level 3, you will experience that. Same with 3 to 4, you will experience that. Here's what I discovered about imposter syndrome. It's not really about your abilities. It's about your identity. Most people have an identity crisis. They don't know who they are, so they don't believe that they even deserve what they currently have. And that was me. I thought I was just a poor kid from the inner city, and that was my identity. So when I started succeeding, it didn't match who I thought I was. The breakthrough came when I realized your past doesn't determine your future. Your circumstances don't define your potential. Your background, it doesn't limit your destiny. I had to change my identity from a poor kid who got lucky to a professional who earned his success through hard work and dedication. Here's my identity shift that changed everything. Old identity, I come from nothing, so I don't deserve success. New identity, I come from nothing, which makes my success even more meaningful. The moment you change your identity, imposter syndrome dies. The moment you change the story that you're telling yourself, you start to experience a different life, a different human experience, because you're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're becoming who you really were meant to be. Now, here's an exact 5-step system that I use to overcome imposter syndrome forever. And let me explain the levels before I go into this. I was a car salesman for a lot of years. When I then came into this business, I was very well known for what I did, and I did a lot of good work. For 10 years, I had dominated, crushed it, killed it, made millions of dollars. And then when I went to go teaching people, I had the same identity crisis as when I first showed up. Oh man, what if they figure me out? I'm not a speaker. Do I even deserve to go deliver a message to these hundreds of people, these thousands of people? Man, I can coach these people because I've done something that most people couldn't do, which is stay consistent, stay resilient. I beat things in my life that I must share for those people, and I'm here to be an impactor. I had to change my identity from all of those negative things to the things that I saw in myself that was a winner that other people saw in me that sometimes you can't see for yourself. When you start to becoming a speaker, trainer, or coach, you start to think, man, am I really worthy of helping other people? And that moment that you decide that you're not worthy is the moment that will ruin your life. It's the moment that you don't get to experience who you could be pushing through. Just like when you were a salesman and you had to push through and reach that next level of your identity, in every different level, you're gonna have to do that. And action trumps everything. I remember walking out on my first stage so nervous, 100 people, not even a big crowd, and just feeling totally unworthy. And I got out there, and you know what? I still jumped. I still took action. And when I did that, I started to feel even better about my identity. I started to be like, people came up and I'm like, I don't even remember what I said. They're like, that was amazing. You did such a good job. I'm like, damn, I might be good at this. I remember when I first spoke to 5,000 people, I was sick, physically ill. And then when I did it and I jumped, and that's the thing that you have to do. You have to jump. And when I jumped and I spoke to those people and I had people lined up around the corner, I would have never experienced that if I let that imposter syndrome play small. I would have never experienced that if I let that imposter syndrome kill my dreams, kill my hopes, and not let me become that. When I first started social media, I'm like, this is stupid. Then you have people commenting like, look how dumb you are. Look how stupid you are. But if I wouldn't have shot social media for years, I wouldn't have made millions of dollars. I wouldn't have had the life that I currently have. I wouldn't have beat the things that I have. And more than the money and the impact, the identity that I have with myself, I would have never experienced that if I cared what other people thought. So step 1, document your wins. I started keeping a win journal every day. I wrote down 3 things that I did well. Every sale, every customer that I had, every customer who thanked me. Even when I noticed that my skills improved, I wrote that letter to myself like, dude, you did this great. You leveled up in these ways. You are becoming that. I was affirming these new traits about myself that started to make me more confident, and then I started to improve. Most people are just going to focus on their failures and forget their successes. You need evidence that you belong where you are. Write that evidence down and look at that evidence and be like, man, let that evidence reaffirm who you are based on what you're doing. Remember, you're the one doing it. That's why you're feeling it. If you weren't doing it, you wouldn't feel it. So you need to reaffirm, I am doing it. The only reason I know you can make one of these win journals is because in order for you to have imposter syndrome, you have to be doing something. So you are actively playing the game and you have to notice that you are playing the game. Step 2, reframe your story. Instead of, I got lucky, which I used to think a lot of the times I'd be going out onto that stage to talk to these people like, man, I got lucky. But then you know what I started to know was I worked hard and it paid off. Instead of saying, I don't belong here, I started saying, I earned my place here. And I started reaffirming this to myself that I'm a star player, that I'm a championship player, that I deserve these things. And I would brainwash myself like, I deserve these things. These are for me. I've worked for this. I'm working for this every day. I'm growing. This is a part of it. Step 3, invest in yourself. Man, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in training in my 15-year career, in personal development, in coaching, and everything. Why? I don't care if you buy our courses, our academies, even though they're the best, because when you invest in yourself, you build evidence that you're serious about your success. I remember buying a course from somebody and I didn't even look at it. Honestly, I got off that phone with them and I closed more deals just because I felt better about me, because I felt like, man, I am worthy. I am investing in myself. I am different. I would write that down. I am different. I am worthy. I'm investing in myself. And I had this natural momentum because I knew I was doing things that other people wouldn't do. When you pay attention. So I always like to pay for something because it makes me me pay attention. Every book I read, every seminar I go to, every coach that I've ever hired, I built confidence that I belonged at the top. And in order to even have that confidence, you have to have that evidence. So if you're actively looking for that evidence, then you're going to realize that you do belong at the top. Step 4, find your unique value. Number 1 problem. I was trying to be like everybody else to fit in. Instead, I started being myself. I started being what made me different. I started being who God made me to be. I didn't have a college degree, but I had some serious hunger. I didn't have experience, but I had some serious work ethic. I didn't have connections, but you know what I had? I had authenticity. I didn't have a lot of things, but you know what I had? I had energy. I had drive. I had passion. And a lot of people used to tell me to settle that shit down. Oh, you're too much. Choke on it, dude. I don't even give a shit. Listen, those unique capabilities and skill sets that God gave me, I muffled for a long time until I didn't. And when I didn't, I was different. And when I was different, people made fun of me. And I started to be like, oh, let me retreat. Maybe they're right. No, that's that imposter syndrome because I'm playing the game, because I'm in the field and that thing's trying to keep me safe. Hey, you don't have to feel like this if you're just a shadow player. You don't have to feel like this if you just shrink. Hate is a trophy that only winners get. So if you got people hating on you because you're different, that means you've stepped out into your next level of your life. Your differences aren't weaknesses. They're not. They're superpowers, whatever makes you different. Simon Sinek is a lot different than Andy Elliott. Both great leaders. This guy, he's a very introverted, analytical thinker. This guy's a very powerful, generational speaker who's going to influence you, persuade you, and just carry a magnetic drill sergeant type of energy and push it through you. It's not for everybody, just like this guy's not for everybody. This guy can't be this guy. You can't be me. I can't be you. You have to have confidence in who you are, and you have to live how you're going to live. Step 5, help others. The fastest way to feel like you belong is to help others. I always say, man, if you feel helpless, just help people. You'll feel great about yourself. The fastest way to get over that is to help people get where you are. I started mentoring new salespeople when I first got into this business. And remember, I didn't feel worthy doing it. I'm a guy that has literally sold more shit than probably 99% of the world. And I get into this business and I didn't feel worthy teaching salespeople how to do it. I was like, oh, well, I don't know. That's the imposter syndrome. It's not bad. It's because I'm playing the game. Am I worthy of teaching salespeople how to sell? Yeah, I've been doing it for 15 years, okay? A very illustrious career. But my mind would tell me, you're not worthy. You can't do it. Don't do it. Sit on the sidelines. I would make calls like, It's just because I had the imposter syndrome. And it's not bad. What I didn't realize is because I was in the game. If I wasn't in the game, I wouldn't feel like that. When you're helping others, you can't feel like a fraud. You're too busy feeling valuable. I'll say that again. When you're helping others, you can't feel like a fraud. You're too busy feeling valuable. That evidence that I got when I went to my first stage and I was so nervous, and then I come off the stage and people were like, dude, you changed my life. Oh my God. I was so close to calling that venue before I got there. I was so close to just being like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I was physically sick for a month. Like every day I was thinking about what I was going to say. Every day it was torturing me. It felt like I was like, this is horrible. The life that I have is because I stepped in that game. I started reframing that imposter syndrome as, dude, you're not scared. You're just excited. You're not anxious. You're just pumped up. You're ready to go. You're doing something that you haven't done. And therefore you just don't have certainty on the other side of this decision. But once you make it, you're going to get certainty. You're going to get the evidence and you're going to feel good about it. By the way, if you're taking notes right now, good. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you a complete confidence blueprint that shows you exactly how to build unshakable self-belief and eliminate this imposter syndrome forever. Keep watching because I'm going to give this away to you for free. Now listen, here are the specific mindset shifts that killed my imposter syndrome. And I want you to write these down. Shift 1, go from I don't deserve this to I earn this. Every success you have, no matter what it is, small, big, little, all of them, they're all from actions you took and work that you put in. You didn't get lucky, you got results. Shift 2, from I'm not qualified to I'm learning. Nobody is born qualified. There's not one person who is born qualified. Everyone starts somewhere. The fact that you're growing and learning makes you more qualified, not less. Your confidence should come from your intention. And if your intention is to grow, learn, and do something, which you have to be doing something to experience this imposter syndrome, then you need to take confidence in most people aren't going to experience what you're experiencing because they're not going to do it. Shift 3, they'll find out I'm a fake. 2, I'm authentic. The reason people connect with you is because you're real, you're authentic, and that's your strength, not your weakness. For a long time, man, I dressed up in a mask just like everybody else. I was walking around a shell of myself, not believing in myself. And then there was a day where I just put that mask down, believed in myself, believed in what I had to offer the world. And once you do that, no matter who you are, you can look at a lot of people online, and there's a lot of people, like we can use Simon Sinek. Does he believe in himself? Yeah. Is he introverted, quiet? Yeah. But he's weaponized who he is, and he's taken that to market. Different. Andy Elliott, super authentic. From the clothes he wears, the short shorts, the ripped tee, that's who he is. I watched him go into business meetings with Fortune 100 companies. He goes in there just like him, and people will comment on it. They'll be like, well, that's what you're gonna wear to. He's like, listen, I'm me. This is how I roll. This is what makes me comfortable. Well, because of that, he stands out of the crowd of everybody else, because everybody else are crowd pleasers. Everybody else are trying to make people happy. Everybody else are trying to fit in. He's not trying to fit in. You see, because he's not trying to fit in, because Simon's not trying to fit in, they've got results that most people just don't have. I didn't have a lot of results for a long time because I just tried to be like everybody else. You got to be you. Can you take some things from people's personalities and strengths and use them? Yes, but you got to make them authentic to you. Shift number 4, you got to go from I'm behind everyone else to I'm on my own journey. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10. Everybody has their own timeline. Focus on your progress, not anybody else's position. That's the fastest way to kill your relationship, your business, anything in your life. Comparison is the thief of joy. That means if you're comparing yourself to other people and other things, it's just going to steal your joy. It's just going to steal your happiness. It's going to steal your creativity. It's going to steal your authenticity. It's going to steal your future level of yourself, because you're running around thinking about what everybody else has. And trust me, it's a hard thing because we're on social media. We got all these different things, but you must protect that. Shift number 5, go from I can't do this to I'm figuring this out. You don't have to have all of the answers. You just have to be willing to find them. Confidence isn't knowing everything. It's knowing that you can learn anything. That's real confidence. The biggest shift I had was when I stopped trying to prove I belonged and started acting like I belonged. When I was talking about that stage with 5,000 people, something clicked when I walked out there. I said, this is my stage. This is how this works. This is how I'm coming into this meeting. I don't care what none of you think. When I walk into a sales meeting, I'm not thinking about what all of you are thinking. I'm thinking about what I'm here to deliver. I think about what I'm here to do. You think that Kobe Bryant, when he's going out there, he's listening to the boos of the stands? No, he's listening to himself, his mentality, what he's telling himself every day. I would step into these moments that I'd be scared, and I would show up and I'd be like, damn, man, all I did was act like I belong there. All I did was have this unshakable confidence, and you can channel that out of you. But if you walk into these things and be like, oh, I've got this imposter syndrome, I'm going to play small, you're likely to get your ass kicked and let it increase. If you want to fight imposter syndrome, fight it with energy, fight it with clarity, fight it with belief, fight it with confidence. And if you do that, you'll kill it. You'll murder it. So confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something that you build over time, and you build it in these moments when you don't want to do what you're going to do, and you tell yourself, I am him, I am her, I can do this, I'm capable. And then you go do it. And then remember, go back to the front of the video. You go to your win chapter and you say, I did that shit today. I did that. I would sit behind these stages and I would be walking around and I'd be yelling, I'm him, I'm capable, I'm worthy, I got this. And I'd go out there and I'd rip, and people are like, whoa, what was that? And I'd be like, I just had to coach myself. So here's how you build that. You build your confidence up, and confidence comes from that confidence. You knowing what you're doing is that confidence that your body's kind of looking for. The better that you get at your craft, the more confident you become. Sometimes I'd walk out on those stages, and since I hadn't practiced what I was getting ready to deliver, I'd be less confident and I'd come off less. And most people wouldn't come talk to me after, and they'd be like 1 or 2 people, like my mom, saying congratulations. But you know why? Because I was trying to please everybody, and I wasn't as competent in what I was talking about or delivering, and so you could tell. So one thing you have to do is refine your craft. Know your job better than anybody else. I practiced objection handling when I was in the car business until I could do it in my sleep. You can hit me with any objection. I got to think about it. Of course you got to think about it. I haven't given you enough information not to think about it. What I like to do is to give you a quick 5-minute proposal of all the facts and figures. That way, when you go home, you truly have something to think about. Would that be fair? Yes. Okay, perfect. Follow me inside. I could say every objection getting waterboarded in my sleep. You know why? because I wanted to have that confidence. When I met somebody, I knew how to function. I knew what it was. I'm very introverted. You may not think that because you're experiencing my energy. That doesn't mean that I'm not introverted. When I'm by myself, I am by myself, and I prefer to be by myself. Trust me. But I know my job, so I know how I need to show up, and I know the confidence I have, so I can translate that into confidence. If I didn't do that, I would not show up the version of me that you see today. I would not show up the version of me that needed to be on those stages like I've shown up, because I wouldn't be confident. Become so good at what you're doing that it just breeds confidence. But in order to do that, you must study what you're doing and go to that next level. So if you really want to build that confidence, what you got to do is keep your promises to yourself every time. If you say you're going to do it, just do it. Build that self-trust. Every time you break a promise to yourself, it damages your confidence. I know when my confidence is at an all-time high, it's when I'm doing all of the little things. And by the way, these aren't things that people know about. These are things that only you know about. I know when I'm supposed to do the cold plunge for 30 days, that I get out a minute early. Breaks a little bit of confidence with me as I go through the day. I know if I walk over and I skip picking up a piece of trash, and I tell myself I'm not going to be that piece of shit that does that, break some confidence. I know that when I say I'm going to eat something, but then I don't eat it, it breaks down a little bit of confidence. So decide what you're going to tell yourself and stick to it. Don't make bullshit goals. Make goals that, like, if you say you're going to do something, do it. I knew when I needed to make 50 calls in the dealer every day, if I made those 50 calls, I had confidence the next day, regardless of the results. Your confidence is built on your credibility with yourself, and that's it. Get around people who believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself. And that's a major key. I joined masterminds, hired coaches, and I built relationships with the people where I wanted to be. And their belief in me helped me believe in myself. You need that. Celebrate your progress. Most people only celebrate big wins, and they ignore the small little progresses every day. Celebrate every step forward. Every skill you develop, every fear that you face, every goal that you hit, write it down and acknowledge it, man. Because sometimes you can look back 5 years from now and you don't realize all the demons and devils you beat to be here today, you actually beat them. And if you remembered all the battles you faced, you'd be massively confident, but likely you forgot about a lot of them. Take action despite fear. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action in spite of the fear. Every time you do something that scares you and you survive, you build evidence that you can handle whatever is coming your way. I promise you. Here's the truth. Imposter syndrome might come back. Every time you level up, I've experienced that it's come back. But now you'll know what to do. Recognize it for what it is. It's not the truth. It's just fear. It's not insight. It's insecurity. It's not wisdom. It's worry. Use it as a signal. When imposter syndrome shows up, it just means you're growing. Just remember that. If you take anything away from this video, make sure you take that away. It means you're pushing boundaries. It means that you're doing something that matters. Go back to your evidence. Look at your win journal. Remember what you've overcome. Recall what you've achieved. Let your track record speak louder than your fears. Take action anyway. Do it anyway. Don't wait for the feeling to go away. Take action in spite of it. The feeling will follow the action, not the other way around. Remember your why. You're not doing this for yourself. You're not alone. You're doing it for your family. You're doing it for your future. You're doing it for the people that you're here to help. Your mission is bigger than your insecurities, and you're just going to be just fine. All right, I promise you my free confidence blueprint. And for those of you who watch this far, you're truly the 1%ers. All you have to do is text the number below, confidence blueprint, and I'll send you this blueprint that you can use for daily exercises, mental mindset shifts, and the exact system that I'm using every day to stay sharp, keep growing, and keep fighting these demons off and getting better every single day. Listen, imposter syndrome is a liar. It's a thief. It steals your potential. It kills your confidence, and it will murder your future. But it only has power if you give it power. You belong where you are. You've earned what you have. You deserve the success that's coming your way, but you have to believe it before anyone else will. Stop waiting for the perfect moment for you to feel ready. You are ready now. You've always been ready. You just need to believe it. Your future self is counting on you to push through it. Your family is counting on you to step into your greatness. The people you are going to help are counting on you to overcome your fears. Don't let imposter syndrome rob the world of what you have to offer. If this video helped you, smash the subscribe button and drop a comment below of the one thing that you're gonna do to stop doubting yourself. Share this with somebody who needs to hear this message. Now go out there and own your success. Let's go.